is connected to this lock, which is connected to this lock. What is happening? Why nobody told me this was happening in the back of my fucking head? It's time. It honestly, I got just...
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dommy Boy, back with a Freeform Locks update. And guys, today marks 1 year and 8 months on the Freeform Lock journey. That's 20 months of patience, persistence, and consistency on the way back to the crown. You know, in all honesty, I think we've already made it back to the crown, because a year in and 8 months, guys, we got the length, we got the thickness.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
And if you're new to the Congo Familia in typical Dommy Congo's fashion, we're gonna be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly thus far. And after the good, bad, and ugly, guys, it's time we do some work on these locks, because shit is getting out of hand. This is not for the fragile freeformer. If you are indeed watching, you gonna wanna close your eyes for this one. Alright, Congo gang, here's a closer look at the locks. A view of the front of the crown here, the top of the head. Thank God we don't have no bald spots. About 99.9% of the locks are fully formed, and it's likely from henceforth the changes to the crown will be less drastic and move a little bit slower. A lot of the dreadlocks are starting to fall, except for these two soldiers here who are connected at the root. I'm going to cut them later on in the video, but let's see what else is going on first. Up in the front, the locks have matured and separated off to each be their own. This is the largest lock on the right side of my head. It's the one lock that I'm the most self-conscious about. This just has this weird oblong shape, and everything on this side of my head sort of like lays down, just a bunch of regular locks here. On the left side of my head, we also got a big ass lock as well, but this one's, you know, a bit covered up, so I'm less self-conscious about it. At least this one has some equally sized dreadlocks growing around it. Makes it stand out a lot less, fits in the mix a bit better. Looks like a lot's going on, but it's really just one lock, two lock, three lock. We'll count that one for the back. And on the right side, we have one lock and all these little teenager locks hanging on next to it. So three locks here, and then on the front, you guys can see we have the bangs. We have three locks, really matured ones, and one teenage lock right here in the middle. Now that we got the tour out of the way, let's talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. The good of everything so far is that we have length. We already know, for the most part, the thickness of our locks because they're matured. We know how big they're gonna be. This one's probably gonna be that big. This one's gonna be that big. Probably that big. There's a chance it's gonna get a lot bigger. So we got the length, we got an idea of how big each lock will be. Some more good. They're easy to manage in the sense that I can move them, maneuver them, style them, throw them up in a ponytail. Don't have to worry about losing any progress because they've matured for the most part. And that's the good of having almost 2-year-old freeform locks. The bad, these four locks I have in the front of my face right here. I'm not the biggest fan of them, to be honest with you. The length has become something of an annoyance. I'm getting used to it. I'm learning how to work with it. As you can see, it's already scratching the tip of my nose. But what I will do is I'm training the front bangs, which have been the most problematic or annoying area. They sort of grow like this. And also I don't want to tie up my hair so often and so much that I'm pulling on the edges. When you pull on your locks, you're reducing the strength of your locks, and you're also setting yourself up for traction alopecia. So for me, the bad of the journey so far is just learning how to work with the length. So even though it is a bad, there is some hope. Now it's time for the ugly. And you might have picked up on what the ugly is already because I've avoided sharing it with you all thus far. I haven't shown y'all the back of the head. Now at first glance from our Congo gang, this may look like a beautiful sight to see, some healthy flat locks, but looks can be deceiving because when you take a closer look,
it's connected to this lock here, which is connected to this lock here, which is connected. Wow, they're already separate. Look at that, that just separated. It was begging to be its own lock. Look at that, begging.
Please, 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 please.
I think we got it separated for the most part, but we still have this lock connected to this, connected to this, connect it to this, connect it to this. You know, what is happening here, guys? Why nobody told me this was happening in the back of my fucking head?
I don't know how to say it.
Why y'all didn't tell me this was happening to me, man? Y'all just letting me rock? Walking down the block like this? Thinking I'm fresh? Y'all got me fucked up. I gotta, it's time. It honestly, I gotta just start over. It honestly feels like, you know, like the Darth Vader helmet, the panel that he got. And nobody, the back of his neck with the Force. That's what this is. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love having thick locks. I love having Congos, but something like this Darth Vader neck shield that I'm growing is not beneficial to my goals whatsoever. When I started this journey, it was to take back time and put it on the things that I enjoy doing. And having hair like this more so just adds more time to my life and more complexities as opposed to taking them away. Washing is harder. It's harder to wash out soap out of my hair. This tends to pull on my scalp, and one of my favorite clothing items, hoodies, are almost near impossible to wear. Alright guys, we're gonna deal with the matted Darth Vader shield mess that is the back of my head, and all we need are three things. Your fingies, a pair of durable scissors, and agua, water. Before we separate, we're gonna need some wall. Wet ass locks. So make sure you get your locks nice and wet. You never want to separate your hair dry. Make sure we get it down to the root and on the scalp. Now the main method I like to do for separating my hair, there are one of three methods. We have these two locks. Now can we do the popping method, which is the usual method I use? You would typically run your finger up from the root. No, can't really pop. Can we do any pull and rip? Pull and rip method, you make sure you have both locks down at the root, because there is the instance you could take away more hair from one lock than the other. So make sure you grab both at the root, make sure it's wet, and then pull to separate. And see guys, this one is a little harder. Popping doesn't work, pulling and ripping doesn't work. So in this case, we're gonna have to use the cutting method. So get your fingers down between both locks. Make sure you have enough room on both sides. Slide the scissors up and under and snip. Again, ensuring enough hair is on both sides of those locks. There we go. We have the first free dreadlock on the back of the head. We'll keep going through the rest using all three methods to just clean up this Darth Vader shield. So let's separate this one above the bottom one. So this one I see is attached here and attached to this lock over here. Let's make sure we get down here. We're going to separate this lock up here from these two locks below here. So I found, slide my finger in between, slide the scissors, and snip. And look at that, we're free. This lock is free. And look, the scalp is happy and feeling good. We're going to separate this lock. Man, there's a lot of matted mess going on back here. This one's a little dangerous, guys. I do not recommend doing this without a friend. That one was dangerous, guys. But it's freed. Look at that. Pull and rip right there. All these locks back here are almost separated. Guys, I'm slowly panicking. So we're gonna separate these two from one another. This lock up here will finally be free after this cut. Make sure you have enough room on both, enough hair on both. Make sure no locks are in the way. And then snip. Boom. Boom. And I think this lock is finally a lock of his own. Look at that, a nice flat lock. I love it. That's one of my faves now. I love these flat locks. Look at that. Look at that baby. Look at the baby. Now we have a mess back here with one lock and this mess over here. Now this lock over here seems like it's got like 4 heads. I don't know what this is, guys. I can't see, but this looks like it's a part of this. I want to separate this middle hunk of dunk from this over here. So finagle a finger down to the roots. Make sure there's enough hair on both. This lock here seems mighty thin, so we're gonna go more so to this lock, to the thick one over here. This right here, these guys were living together for quite some time, so this is a big moment right here. Snip. Look at that. I know, guys, this right here, what I'm doing is sacrilege to certain people who grow freeform locks. Certain people in the community don't believe you should do this. I think you should do anything that sets you up for the best experience with your freeform lock journey. If something like that's happening in the back of your head and you're unsure about it, don't just go through it with your journey and then end up in a place where you're not fond of the locks or the progress that you've made, and you ultimately have to end up cutting them. Finding those situations early on and touching upon them early on and dealing with them early on will set you up for the best progress long term. Two more big daddies right here who are joining hands, and it's time for them to grow up and separate. Two, I separate, they're right in the middle. Make sure enough locks are on both sides. Up in the middle, and snip. Look at that. Look at those. Wow, look at that. We actually have different locks in the back of our head now. How the back of the head looking, guys? This is all just one lock right here. Get a little closer to the ones down here. Now it's just 3 locks. Y'all seeing this may think that this is the end of the freeform lock journey. At this point, you already got your locks. They're just gonna get longer and longer and longer. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing that separates freeform locks from traditional locks is that, with traditional locks, you're usually going into a loctician's place to get any hair growing from the scalp to get retwisted. But with freeform locks, that new growth is out there in the wild on its own, doing things its own way. You see this here? All this free, unlocked hair, now a little bit more noticeable because we've separated our locks, is coming in right below the locks themselves. So going into the new year, it's not all about the length of the hair, but it's also about the potential that this new growth brings. Right under here, look at this. Look at this. This new growth is what most people in the community call it, new growth. This new growth adds a whole lot of potential to the crown. This new growth will form into new dreadlocks that can add texture and depth to your overall look and help to create a more cohesive, unique, and polished appearance to your overall crown. And as my dreadlocks continue to grow and evolve with all this new growth, I'm excited to see where this journey takes me in 2023. Just like the new growth in my head, I'm looking forward to learning and experiencing new things this year, letting them shape me and mold me into the person I'm meant to be. Don't let society, don't let school, don't let the workplace, don't let politics or government, or don't let these social interactions that we go through on a daily basis impede on you reaching what you want to reach. If you're in a cycle where things are feeling, all matted up together, if things are feeling out of control or out of your hands, you do have the power to take back control and steer your journey, your crown, or your life the way you want it to be going. Just as we grabbed hold of those scissors and separated the shit that isn't doing us any benefit for the crown, you could go out there and you could cut the things in your life that aren't doing you or serving you a purpose. Cut the chilling, cut the drinking. I'm not saying not have fun, I'm just saying focus. If I see shit in my head, people in the community will tell you not to separate freeform locks. But just like life, if I see shit going on that I don't like, if I see shit in my life that's not doing me right, that's not serving me any purpose or not lining up with my ultimate goals, why the fuck would I sit back and let it happen and watch it happen? Grab hold of those scissors, cut the people out of your life who aren't doing you right, cut the habits in your life that aren't, giving you any benefit to your existence or where you want to be. This world is set up to keep you held back. This world is set up to keep you in your place. With my journey, I can see growth happening over time, and I can see the things coming into play that's going to impede on that growth long term. So I sit there and watch it. That's an exercise in just anything in life. Hair is minute, it's small, but just about anything in life, you can sit and you can watch the bad shit slowly progress over time, or you can grab a hold of some scissors and do some work. I'm sipping on my Kirkland brew. You can tell I'm hyped up. But I wish you all many blessings going into 2023. I love you all, and I thank you all for sticking with me thus far. I hope y'all rock with me into 2023, into the new year. Here's to another year of growth, many blessings and new opportunities for each and every one of us. If you learned something new, or you just vibing out, or you thinking about going on a freeform lock journey on your own, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and check out one of these videos here. It's your boy, Dami Boy, and I'll see you at the next one.
Let's ride this shit to 2023. Okay.